Greetings, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today to get to talk to all of y'all about generative media and about a couple of the things that we've been building recently at Google DeepMind. I don't think it's a secret that Google has been a little bit busy over the course of the last couple of months. We've released several models out into the world. So Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is still our best flagship model for the very near future. Gemini 2.5 Flash Image Preview, aka Nano Banana. How many folks have tried out Nano Banana? Excellent. We are not the best at naming things, but it's been really exciting to see what folks have been building. VO 3.1, which was released on the order of days ago. It's a new improvement to our VO 3 series of models, and I'll show you a couple of examples of that in a second. Genie 3, which is a world model family, and then our computer use API. Gemini is special in the sense, we're talking today about multimodal understanding, multimodal generation, and why they're both so compelling and so important. Gemini has been designed to be natively multimodal from the ground up, not just in terms of inputs, but also in terms of outputs, which means that it can understand video and images and audio and text and code and all of the above all at once, but it can also output multiple modalities. So you can have output text and output code just like you would with any other large language model, but you can also output audio, including audio in multiple languages. You can output images and edit images, modify them. And you can also stitch together many of these images into GIFs and into the first kind of very, very short clips of video interactions or animated sprites. And that means you can do things like, say, turn this car into a convertible. I think it's a lot cooler to see this in action, though. So I am going to go over to AI Studio, and we can try it out ourselves. If you've never been to AI Studio before, it's kind of a place where you can go to interact with DeepMind's models as soon as they come out. And for this, I'm going to show you how easy it is to work with Nano Banana, which is the model that we were just discussing. For this, I'm going to take a photo, so we'll do it in real time. So take a photo here, add it to the prompt, and then say, show the woman cuddling a fennec fox, just because I love fennec foxes. And we'll see how well this works with the current Wi-Fi setup. One of the other nice things about AI Studio is that if you click the Get Code button, it gives you the code that you need in order to replicate whatever you just did in the UI. So you can copy and paste it and use it in your experiments. And then you can also see that it looks like me. It even keeps the embellishings on my jacket. And then I have a fennec fox, which would probably be illegal in California, but is certainly very cute. But those are the kinds of things now that you can do just with natural language guidance on images. You can stitch together multiple images. I'm sure you've all seen the experiments where you can cobble together your Pinterest board into a single image to imagine new experiences that have never existed, but that look photorealistic. And it's been pretty compelling to see. I'm going to go ahead and show you, though, some of the things that you can do now with video generation. So our next iteration of VO is called VO 3.1. I don't think any presentation is probably complete without a quote from Andre Karpathy, so here you go. I really do feel like video is an incredibly important medium, not just for communication, but also for education, for helping people feel engaged and immersed. And we're in a world now where everyone is kind of moved past wanting to use text as a way to understand new materials. I think that there's a huge opportunity in the education space in order to start incorporating generative media there. And I can't wait to see what folks are building, especially with models like VO 3.1. A few things that we've added are reference-powered video. So all of the things that you've seen with Nano Banana are now kind of expressible in video form. Camera controls, things like outpainting, character consistency, something called first and last frame, which we'll play with in a second. And that means that you can do things like this, where you can say, hey, here's an example character, here's an example scene, now please couple it together in this way. You can do things like say, hey, here's a character, and have it navigate through different scenes, including different scenes with lighting conditions. You can animate pictures to make them look realistic, including with guidance, like this person walking down what looks very much like West Texas. Camera controls, so being able to move back, move right, rotate up, zoom in, other kinds of guidance that you might give as a director. Outpainting, which was incredibly important for a recent experiment that we did in the Sphere in Las Vegas to reimagine The Wizard of Oz just on an enormous, enormous screen. Being able to reimagine full screen as widescreen productions. Adding objects, removing objects. Having character controls with reference face movements, so having an initial avatar and then being able to kind of transpose it onto a video clip. First and last frame, which gives the model the ability to take the first and the last frame and interpolate between the two. And then also these sound effects features. So taking all of this, but also including sound. Yeah, and so hopefully you could hear the waves there. There's also more artistic representations, and even scenes that feel like they could be in Mordor, which is quite nice. And again, all of these generated just through natural text descriptions or an initial image and text guidance. And to see this in action and to see how quickly this scene is evolving, right? I wanted to show you how easy it would be to replicate a commercial. I did this first before at AI Engineering World's Fair in San Francisco. And this is the commercial that I wanted to replicate.
Hey, my name's Paige, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the crispiness of the breading and the
Like, this
tenderness
Paige
of the
is not
filet.
me.
It's
It's just
tasty,
somebody
it's
else
warm,
named Paige.
it's total satisfaction.
Yeah, so a quick 30-second clip. The process to replicate it with VO2, which was our best model less than a year ago, just as a reminder, was to take the original video, to put it into Gemini 2.5 or 2.0 at the time, to generate a detailed text description, because the models are only able to generate 8-second clips at once, to use Gemini text-to-speech to generate the voiceover, so you use the model to extract out the audio, to use a model like Lyria in order to create, in order to create the background audio track, and then to stitch it all together either using something like Camtasia or using something like MoviePy if you're more of a Python human. So it could be automated, but it's a very complicated process. You can barely see some of the words on that Vizio style clip. And this is what I came up with.
Hey, my name's Paige, and what makes a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the crispiness of the breading and the tenderness of the filet. It's tasty, it's warm, it's total satisfaction.
And so this was done over the course of about 30 minutes, less than $5 in order to do all of the generations. And I ended up having to generate several movie clips before stitching them together. So it did take a little bit of artistic work on my part. The process for VO3, obviously much simpler. You put the video into Gemini 2.5 Pro, it generates the text prompt, and then it gives you a final video.
Hey, my name's Paige, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the crispiness of the breading and the tenderness of the filet.
So that same prompt, I used, again, that one that you just saw was from June of this year. The same prompt used with VO 3.1, same process as well, is a little bit more like this.
Hi, my name's Paige, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the crispiness of the breading and the tenderness of the filet.
Which is pretty amazing. So you heard the background audio, the voice sounded a lot more natural, there was a lot more interesting kind of dynamics happening in the video itself. And again, one prompt, first shot, able to create it. It even had the registered trademark for Chick-fil-A because it realized it should put it there. Amazing to see just how far we've come over the last 4.5, maybe 5 months. And also just want to talk through as well a little bit of this concept of world models. World models are something that we've been thinking about at DeepMind for a little bit. If you haven't seen this already, this is just a blog post describing Genie 3, which is our first kind of world model harness, if you would say. It's actually a composition of models, not just a single one. And it gives you the ability to describe in natural language a scene that you would like to see implemented and to have it realized in front of your eyes. You can either start with an example image or start with just a natural text prompt. And the way it looks when you experience it is you can see these arrow keys off to the left. Each pixel of this scene is being generated dynamically. So as you click the arrow keys, it navigates you around in a different place. So you can see the prompt here of a first-person perspective of someone navigating difficult terrain in a volcanic area. You could also see the physics of this expressed in real time. So as you hit one of these lamps on your little water scooter, it bounces back. If you knock it into the water and then you circle back, it remembers that you kind of modified the scene itself. And these experiences feel like an immersive holodeck on the order of 60 to 90 seconds. So it's not prolonged yet, but it does have the ability to completely change everything from understanding things like hurricanes. So you can see here waves crashing in Florida in a hurricane scene, and then also things like underwater experiences. So this would be a great teaching tool, a great learning tool, and a great way to kind of have these very perfect feeling, completely personalized games. I also want to show you just how easy it is now to build with some of these models, and for that I'm going to go back into AI Studio and we're going to cross our fingers and hope that this works. We have a new feature called Build. If you've ever used v0.dev or Bolt, it probably feels a little bit similar, but you can describe your idea and then have it generated and deploy it. So I'm going to try something and we'll see if it works. Use the webcam to take an image of the user, then use NanoBanana to give the user the ability or to show the user hugging their favorite animal. Then give the user the ability to animate that NanoBanana generated image using VO 3.1, saying welcome to San Francisco, and then hit enter. So for folks who weren't in the front row, what I just typed in was use the webcam to take an image of the user, then use NanoBanana to show the user hugging their favorite animal, then give the user the ability to animate that NanoBanana generated image using VO 3.1 and saying welcome to San Francisco. We'll see how well it works. What's happening is this was collapsed initially, but Gemini 2.5 Pro is breaking down the process of what it would take to create this React app. It's selecting the different models. It knows which features to use, how to call the models themselves. So it feels a little bit like the Sims loading screen just on steroids to see all of the different features. And then it's also writing the code behind the scenes. So you can see the code getting generated here on the right. It's getting put into this really nice File Explorer directory structure here in the center. There's also a place to save to a public or a private repo on GitHub once the app gets created. But it's also doing things like kind of crafting the prompts for you for all of the different models, stitching them together in the flow. For this, we're using multiple models simultaneously, so it should be putting Gemini through its paces in order to figure out how to construct the app itself. And then once the app is done, we should be able to test it out in real time just here on stage, which is not scary at all. So we'll see how well it does. Cool, so we've got this. I'm gonna take a photo. So ideally, it will be creating a magical image. Yep, so favorite animal, I guess it's decided that it's a Labrador Retriever because I didn't specify. And then I'm going to select an API key, so just one of the ones that I have available. I'm also going to really hope that I have an API key that is valid. If there are any errors encountered along the way, what Gemini does is it takes it, it puts it back into the model, and it sort of modifies the app to fix it. So we'll see what it's doing. It should be able to find that the Gemini service, the TypeScript file, needs to be modified. I also think it's quite nice in the sense that if you wanted to add files for specific styles of apps or specific rules for the apps themselves, you're also able to incorporate them in. And we added an annotation feature just recently where you can select different parts of the app's UI and make modifications that way as well. And if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to go to a pre-built one, and we can, yep. So it looks like it's modifying the API key selector. We're going to try again. I wonder if it picked a different favorite animal for me. Nope, there's me with the favorite animal, and then animate it. Cool. And while we wait for that, I'm going to go ahead and migrate back to AI Studio to just talk through a couple of the features that you might be able to experiment with. As I mentioned before, if you click Get Code, it gives you everything that you would need to replicate whatever you do in the UI. So it could be in TypeScript, it could be in Python, it could be in a broad variety of things. And then we also have models that allow you to describe what you're seeing on the screen. So if I click one of these, models like Gemini Live, you can do things like share your screen. So I could share a Chrome tab and then say, hey Gemini, what do you see on the screen?
I see a web page titled Webcam Animator. On the left side, there's a code assistant panel
Welcome
with
to
some
San
text and buttons. And on the right side, there's a preview area that says Webcam Animator.
Welcome to San Francisco.
This is giving me like desires to get a golden retriever.
Welcome to San Francisco.
Yeah, amazing. So hallelujah, it worked. Like, thank you, VO 3.1 team. But these are the kinds of things that you can do just in seconds. And then also clearly all of you want to try this out yourself. Please do not use up all of my API credits. But if you would like to kind of test out this app yourself, you can go to Webcam Animator. I know it's a janky URL, but in the interest of time, I'm going to vamoose off the stage. And you can test it out yourself via this live link. So it should work. And thank you so much. I can't wait to see what all of y'all build in this brave new world that we have of generative media. Thank you.